Larry Strunk Plaza in downtown Portland is 2,350 miles from the White House.
5, 6, 7, 8.
But to those gathered here Friday night, that didn't matter.
We'll do anything to stop the Trump administration escalating this into a full-blown war.
Mark McLeod is one of the dozens compelled to protest the U.S. drone strike in Iraq ordered by President Trump. The target? Top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, killed, among others, leaving the Baghdad airport.
I knew from the moment I heard about this last night that it was a terrible, terrible thing.
President Trump calls it a victory. The U.S. officially classified Soleimani as a terrorist, holding him responsible for covert operations that killed hundreds of U.S. troops in Iraq after the 2003 invasion.
Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel, but we caught him in the act and terminated him.
Many in Iran hailed Soleimani as a hero. Thousands gathered to show their love for the fallen general and their anger against Americans. Some fear this week's events will trigger another conflict in the Middle East.
If we're not out here shouting stuff, who will?
Justin Allen joined the Navy after 9/11. Looking back now, he sees the Iraq War differently.
And we just kept sending more and more kids off to die. And I don't want that to happen again because this guy in the White House needs a news cycle distraction from all the crimes him and his friends keep committing.
The president responded to similar criticism with his own clarification.
Soleimani made the death of innocent people his sick passion. We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war.
Thank you to Catherine for that report. And we have complete coverage of this attack fallout on KGW.com, including the president's full news conference today on why he made the move.